Hello, everyone, and welcome back for the 2025 Play It Again Sports Jonesboro Open presented by Westside Disc. We're at the disc side of heaven in a unique 27-hole configuration, and we're watching a battle unfold for the top two spots at the moment as Ben Callaway, along with Aaron Gossage, they've pulled away from the rest of the card. We're watching the chase card, not sure there's enough time or room for them to catch, but it's going to be a good battle no matter what unfolds here. And yet again, joined by Parker Welck. And Parker, man, a 5-stroke deficit already erased by Aaron Gossage, and it looks like he's got all the momentum as we head into this back half of the course.
Yeah, it's basically fire away at this point. The back half is definitely a lot easier than the front half, so we're going to see a ton of birdies, a ton of big putts. Let's get to the action. 380 feet, you're probably going to mostly see just a sidearm here, and you want it to go as far left as you can, hugging the fence line, and then coming back straight. Gossage lays that perfect. I wonder what that was, because he's been beating up his discs so much. That flipped up on him for sure. That was really good. This is more so the line that I was talking about. Somebody's closer.
Exactly what I was thinking. And we're feeling some of those raindrops. Again, you get the umbrella out. It's out for just a moment or two, and then you're like, okay, I think I can put it away, and then you get it right back out again. That's what's taking place at the moment as Väinö comes right after me. Oh, yeah, cat-like reflexes. That did not touch me. Braeden's got the inside track, but he'll still have a look for the birdie look. My umbrella's coming into the shot. Sometimes you could use an extra set of hands or two when you're out there on the course, as we all know, whether you're playing or filming.
That's a scary putt to run. There is that slope behind the basket. If you airball, we've seen a bunch of rollaways already, so didn't want one there. Wow. Väinö's got this elevator putt dialed. I mean, it's definitely not one that we've seen from him in previous years. He's definitely been that super spinny putt guy, but he's been working on this elevator putt, and he seems to be putting pretty good.
And going birdie for birdie, our top two players, both Callaway as well as Gossage, meaning that Aaron will still have a 1-stroke advantage, as we're essentially at the halfway point or slightly past halfway here in the round.
And I think this is one of the easier holes in the course. There is some danger you got to worry about. There's an OB line to the left of the camera. It is tight, but if you manage to find it, it's a shank. So mostly just throwing a putter. It's only 230 feet. Just get up there and give yourself a look.
Statistically, it's the easiest hole on the course. Spoiler, 69% of the field birdied this, and Gossage is trying to become one of those stats. Somebody's closer.
Again?
Yeah. Hanging right there with him. Finn will join the party.
It's that easy. They made it look way easier than it is. There is some sort of mental issue that you have to go through. It is a tunnel shot. So I know barely makes that. I think that was a little too high.
You were just talking about the elevator putt, and that one definitely was up in the penthouse for a moment. Yeah, we say it's the easiest. It's the second shortest hole in the tournament. It's just a straight shot. You just have to throw it, roughly 200 feet to give yourself a look. But even all of that, I think, adds to the pressure of it. Yeah, you have to get this because everyone else is going to. So even though it should be so easy, there's that added pressure of doing what everyone else is expecting you to do. And nothing for nothing, I kind of have that mentality about I'd love to see more holes that feel like they must get birdied on the tour. And I know that's probably not a popular opinion, but I'm okay with some relatively easy par threes. And some people will call them a throwaway shot or a throwaway hole. I feel like there's just as much pressure. I mean, that stroke is just as important as it is on a par five.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you for sure.
I don't know. It kind of gives us some old school roots or vibes. I don't mind some, sometimes some easier par threes. That
a lot of the time, it gives you an ace run opportunity as well.
That too. Yeah, good point. So, we talked about the river, so to speak, or the little stream that runs through this, and Gossage playing safe onto that right side, but really the perfect layup shot because he's close and still has a look for birdie without then flirting with the OB.
Wow. You guys have no idea how difficult that shot was. I did not see a single shot from either of my cards get on the island.
Väinö's going for the island, and it comes in just short and smacks down straight into the OB.
And we got 2-1. That's incredible.
I'm not even going to make an Island Boys reference.
I think you did.
Kodiak Red or something like that. I don't know. I have too much useless knowledge some days. And you keep the birdie train rolling.
Oh, so close. That was such an aggressive tee shot for it being a layup. But that's what you got to do. He pretty much played that perfectly.
And to put it in perspective, he had 11 birdies in a row coming up to this particular putt that he had. So it's going to end the birdie streak, and then bigger picture, it's going to allow Ben to pick up the birdie and ultimately tie them. So we are all knotted up, and we just have 2 holes to go on the B side, so to speak, and then 8 holes to go. So I don't know, I think that's 10 total holes to play, and we've got a tie ball game.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a shootout from here on out. Both these guys have so much potential to birdie literally every single one of these holes, and maybe even a couple eagles in there too. So we'll see how it plays. I mean, 325 feet. Nothing to it besides the OB line on the left. There's that river, and it is kind of tight. I'm wondering if anyone's going to play that spike hyzer. I know we watched Ben park this yesterday.
Yes, please?
Yeah, that'll do.
Just think back to the momentum shift that we saw. It was the downhill putt a few holes ago that were, it started the star frame, but it was the lengthiest putt of the group. Then he goes on to ace run and hit chains on the next hole. The next one he's got a 10-footer. The next one a 10-footer. The previous hole a 5-footer. And now steps up and parks this one as well. I mean, the momentum, everything currently in Ben's favor. And Gossage is right there just trying to match him now stroke for stroke.
Yeah, I mean, Ben's got to be feeling good. It was definitely a slower start. You could see it in his body language. I was talking about it earlier. He was kind of shaking his head and walking stuff around. But now, I think I call this on fire. For sure.
And maybe Ben in his head is already thinking about the next tee shot where he picked up the eagle in round number 1 by parking it. He's, essentially can mentally check out of this hole knowing he's just got a 5-foot tap in. And he might even be thinking, man, I'm ready to go get that eagle on the next one. Or is he disciplined? Is he in the moment thinking, okay, this 5-footer? What would you be thinking? I know it's a big question to ask, but have you already checked out at this point and you're looking ahead to the next drive?
Basically, there is nothing to this putt. You're just tapping it in. You can do this left-handed. Not eyes closed, though. Don't do it eyes closed. You'll probably miss.
tied at 26. I love it.
Here we go. I think this played as the easiest hole yesterday. 440 feet doesn't seem like a lot for a par 4, but it's straight uphill and kind of a low ceiling as well if you're looking for that eagle. But you're able to throw it just way wide right and pitch up and take your birdie pretty easily. So I'm wondering if these guys are going to go for the eagle or just take that easy birdie.
There is the Mando. You see the arrow on the tree on the left side. That, unless you shank it, that Mando should not come into play. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, absolutely. And I think Ben hit the trees and kicked left pretty hard. He might be still having to deal with that Mando.
That's a pretty big drive for Braeden. Not quite to circle's edge, but definitely safe. And a big drive there for Gossage as well. And to see Gossage come up, you know, a little bit short, and I just keep thinking back to yesterday's drive by Ben and how impressive it was to put himself within 6 or 8 feet or so of this pin in such a headwind and the uphill shot that it is.
Väinö played that pretty perfect. I mean, I'm sure he was going for the eagle, but when it's wide right like that, it's nothing really to it from there. And Ben still had to deal with that Mando a little bit. Pretty tricky shot, but he'll be up there for a birdie look.
And even if you wanted to be aggressive, not much of an option there, huh?
No, not really, but it definitely looks like he was really wanting to go for that putt.
An eagle bid. But it's not a clean look, so Gossage will have to settle for a tap-in birdie. And yeah, just outside of the circle, but an awkward stance dealing with that low-hanging branch and then whether he wants to go left or right. And he really actually contemplated back and forth quite a few times. And now he's gone deep and has a tester on the comeback.
Oh, no. That's so frustrating to be looking at an eagle from just outside of circle 1 and then missing your comebacker as well. I don't think taking par was ever something he thought about after that tee shot.
Yeah, this ended up playing as the 3rd easiest on the course, just barely. I mean, B15 played at 2.31, B13 played at 2.35, and this played at 3.39 out of 4. So 3rd easiest and a must-get, as you called it. Now we're back on the regular course.
Yeah, so from here on out, like I said, this back part is pretty much, it might feel like birdie or die for these guys, but because of the wind, I mean, they're going to be giving themselves as much opportunity as they can, but hopefully no bogeys, because bogeys will take you out of it. But 470 feet and kind of uphill and pretty windy. It takes everything you got. It's pretty hard to go long on this pin.
Favorable that rolls out into the open for him.
Wow. Wow, that flew like a paper plate. That was a overstable disc. We've been watching him throw it pretty much all day. Wind just took that one.
And the wind was taking that, not quite as much, and it doesn't have enough room to work itself back out, but a favorable kick to have it just go straight down, and he's going to have an open look on the approach. And after seeing 3 other wind shots, Braden's trying to make an adjustment for himself. And, yeah, just about circle's edge.
A little bit of a tester putt there for sure, especially in the wind. It is one of the more open holes, so the wind likes to fight through here. Väinö, very loose approach.
Well, and I was just going to say, you normally could throw that with your eyes closed, and just the wind is adding an additional factor to where you have to be that much more touchy with the shot that you're releasing as Ben's checking the wind.
And I bet you Ben was thinking, why didn't my drive turn over? Everyone else's turned over except for his. He did throw it, looked like to be pretty nose up and high, but even still.
Gossage for par. And the first real mistake by Gossage. Väinö was able to clean up after that loose shot, as you said, and he'll walk away with the par. But, man, seeing Callaway and Gossage now going to have a stroke separator between them, and you wouldn't have said, hey, I think you're going to see someone lose a stroke with a bogey on this hole.
No, absolutely
a birdie
not.
to a par maybe, but not a bogey. And maintain that focus as we head over to the old hole 2, which is now hole 12.
Yeah, you got to hit this gap right off the tee. It is much smaller than people might think, but once you get through the gap, you're going to hyzer out as far left as you can without actually going into the woods. Further left you go, the more open the gap gets through here. And really, once you're past that, all you got to do is worry about the out of bounds, which is past the basket.
That looks like 60% power for Ben.
He is so smooth.
Yeah. I was just going to say, do you feel like he's letting up there?
I think
or
when
is
he
it
has
just
to hit that gap,
smooth and
maybe letting up, but not too much because it requires a lot of distance off this tee. And you also got to be thinking about the wind, and if you throw it too hard, it might flip over. So a lot of stuff to think about here.
Center of the fairway for Mäkelä.
Yes, very nice. Thank you. God, thanks.
Nearly identical result there for Braeden.
Yep, sir.
Gossage had a 5-stroke deficit coming into the round, worked himself into a 1-stroke lead at one point. Now sits 1 back of Callaway.
And that's a perfect drive in my book. He went so far left. Going to be a wide open hyzer for Gossage. I shouldn't say wide open. There's still a gap to hit, but he won't have to flex it like Ben just had to flex that one.
Yeah, and that one comes up short. It feels like maybe he just didn't get enough under it. And he's way off on that right side, deep in circle 2. Gossage with the opportunity, but hits the branch.
Big mistake.
The fairway. Yeah.
I don't even think he was trying to go under it. I think he was just trying to get through the gap on the right of it.
Väinö out in the same territory as where we saw Callaway with his second. So both of them long looks. Braeden looks to have this dialed in.
Yeah, the rain is really coming down now.
Yeah, you're seeing the umbrellas pop back out, and a special superstar shows up at this point. The Finnish cowboy arrives on the card, and I'll shout him out graciously, even offering to hold my umbrella for me while I was doing the camera work. Callaway deep in circle 2.
No way. Man, that's got to feel good. Yeah, he's stepping different now.
Little flip of the disc as you retrieve it, and another level of confidence as Braeden is finding himself a birdie. Gets to 3 under with that. And just like that, the umbrellas come back down. So although there was significant rain for a few minutes, it decides that it's going to essentially stop again and tease us a little later. But most importantly, Callaway steals a stroke with the long circle 2 connection. And now he's 2 ahead of Gossage as they head to the 13th.
And right now, this hole has to be a must get for both of these competitors right now. It's 432 feet, wide open, absolutely nothing in the way. All you got to do is read the wind right, and you should put yourself in there for a pretty good look at a birdie. There is OB left, so as long as you don't early release it, you should be looking at birdie no matter what.
Does it have enough swing, a little bit of skip, and inside the circle?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time, you can get stuck on some taller grass, and it'll stick you right where your disc lands. So he could have very easily been circle 2 right there.
Braeden sneaks just inside the circle. Of the regular 18 holes on this course, hole 13 is playing as the second easiest. It's 6th easiest overall, but it's the second easiest of the standard course that they're playing. So you just called it. This feels like a must-get birdie out here. Pulled wide and deep.
There's the headwind.
You don't see too many players up in that area. As
No.
He's going to give it a really firm bid and have a tester on the comeback.
Yeah, and it did stop raining for these guys, but it is still so frustrating with the ground being wet and having to dry off literally every single time you throw your disc. And maybe the grip isn't the best either on your shoes for throwing. Braden's putt and the last 2 putts have looked so good, so smooth.
I feel like he's really settled in, and Gossage is going to walk away with a par, which is going to be disappointing in itself. And the fact that he even had that much of a putt for par is not building necessarily any confidence. Meanwhile, Callaway with a chance to go up 3.
Well, I mean, he's got to be pretty comfortable right now, but the next 2 holes are 2 holes that you really have to dial, and you cannot afford to take big numbers, and these next 2 love dishing out big numbers. So we'll get to the first one. It's a par 5. It's 875 feet, but this one is definitely eagleable, and it's definitely bogeyable. Your tee shot's going to want to land somewhere right in front of that tree we just passed, and just throw something over here. We do have an OB square, seems like. So if you don't get it across, you're going to go to this drop zone, and par at best would be in play for these guys.
Callaway with all the momentum right now and a 3-stroke lead.
And that seems to be in a perfect position as long as that tree is not in the way.
I was alluding to this yesterday. It's not what I would consider like, throw and pray, but you throw a big shot here, and it's just crazy that after 450, 500 feet, as you were saying yesterday, it's just a matter of, okay, do you have the right angle? Do you have the right window? Is there one branch or one tree that's in your way from attacking, and do you have to lay up? That's what you find out once you move 500 feet down the fairway.
Yeah, I mean, you can love your tee shot, and once you get up there, you'll have to lay up just 30 feet in front of you, maybe.
Yes, exactly. Looks like prime position here for Braeden, though.
Yeah, only thing he has to worry about is getting it over those trees. And gets through it, so he'll be looking at eagle right there.
Filtering through the final few trees.
Gossage. There's only a few people in the world that can do this shot. And he lands safe. So he'll be looking at eagle. We have yet to see where Ben has landed.
Great position for Väinö. E2 filter. Throwing into those trees, he's going to get ultimately the green paddle pointing his way. So he's in bounds, but he'll have some obstruction. Oh, and that pushes down, and it's out of bounds.
No
it's short.
way.
He goes to the drop zone.
Great approach, but if you're Gossage, you got to be thinking, I need to put this in to put some pressure on.
And Gossage has a goofy angle, so it's going to be a forehand pitch.
Wow, that is frustrating to get it all the way there and have nothing but a sidearm.
He is still in the bullseye there, looking at a birdie. Meanwhile, sides for eagle. Doesn't keep the putter hot. Väinö for eagle.
Great putt. Those trees can be tricky. You see a lot of the times people throwing into those trees and having it roll backwards out of bounds, and even though it did cross, you're still going to the drop zone because it is an island.
Braeden will still walk away with birdie. We saw him turn his eagle look earlier into a par. This time he's still able to get the birdie. He moves to 18 under as a total. And Callaway for par.
Ooh. Right side.
Right side.
That's in the water if he airballs that. That was
Yeah.
pretty close. But good cleanup.
Some friendly chains. I mean, it was a good putt, but it was coming in strong.
Yeah.
And Gossage is going to pull one stroke closer, though, so not quite the two-stroke swing you maybe was hoping for with an eagle, but he's now within two as we head to the 15th.
And here comes another two-stroke swing and hole. 315 feet. It is an island. If you do not stick the island, you go to a drop zone, which is before the water. And even from there, it's still not easy to get up and down. So these guys are just going to want to stick the island. Step one, step two, make your putt.
And you can see the water there. That's all part of the construction, which is really one of the biggest reasons why we're not seeing this event on the Pro Tour this year. They're hoping to return and be back on it in future years, but there was a lot of question because we've been here for all these years in a row as to why it's not, and construction being one of those main answers. Out here at the disc side of heaven.
There's your read. Follow that line. Perfect.
Just deep of the pin by a few feet, but also the idea of possibly even throwing it in, that has to be coming into mind.
I mean, this is a ton of pressure for Ben, and that looks wide. But ultimately, very close looking at birdie. Both of them still has a bunch of pressure on these putts.
Another birdie for Braeden. He gets to 6 under on the round. Gossage to get to 28.
No. I think he needs a mulligan.
Yeah, he can't afford to do that. Yeah, obviously you never want to miss a putt, but knowing that Ben has had most of the momentum as of late, Ben's right there for birdie, and that was going to keep him just 2 behind Ben most likely, and you can't go down 3 with 3 holes to play against a guy who's played so well at this course historically. And he adds some cushion.
Got it.
So up 3 with 16, 17, and 18 to play. 2 par 4s and a very daunting par 3 to close out.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it, and I think 16 and 17 are at max 1-stroke swings, but 18, that can be your 2-stroke swinging hole. We get to 16 at 675 feet. The danger is not on the tee shot, it's on the second shot. There's a wall of trees that you just want to somehow get through, whether it's backhand, sidearm, or just get lucky through it. You got to make sure you get through this wall.
Väinö's gone 3 under over the last 2 holes, going eagle and birdie.
And that is not what he's looking for. I mean, I just said it. There's no danger on the tee shot, but when you flip over a disc like that, I'm calling that a bad shot. It's something you can't really afford to do when you're looking to get a good finish at this tournament coming down the stretch.
And that's exactly what you're looking for. Gossage doesn't like it. And he filters through, but I mean, you just called Väinö's shot bad. I pretty much have to say the same of Gossage's.
100%. He turned around. I thought he liked it when he turned around, but he hated it. There's no way that shot was ever going to get through, and he just got away with one there.
Yeah, the fact that he has this much of an open swing and can even have a look for birdie, possibly, yeah, he's put himself up there with a birdie look. I think that's a bonus in itself with where that tee shot was headed. Good position for Braeden. And on the dance floor.
Yeah, good little jump and roll. You got to think if Ben puts this one under the basket, he's adding a lot of pressure. Oh, really short behind that wall of trees that I was just talking about.
Yeah, the mistake you really can't make on that approach, especially when you're in such prime position. It's tentative, it seemed like.
Väinö.
Yes. Almost wipes out on the retrieval. It doesn't feel like the right kind of karma.
Yeah.
Like put it like literally like this?
That's fine for me.
Yeah.
I would think, yeah. Yep.
And this is outside the circle, right?
I don't know. Yes, you are. Here's
I have no idea. I mean, I see a marker there and a marker there. I don't see one in front of me. That's the only reason
You
why
can
I
also
don't know.
range find it if we can't find the wish.
I don't see a wish.
Just inside.
If you guys think it's inside, that's perfectly
I would
fine.
say
I'm just
I would
asking.
say it's outside.
I thought it might be outside, so I didn't know.
Yeah, of course range find it. It's close. Yeah, it is very close. But I still think it's outside.
I mean, the whiskers could be off too. Let's see if this says. Sure. To the band, it says it's 33. So is that in? Technically,
What do you say?
33
That's outside.
is 2 inches outside.
Okay. Yeah, because yeah.
So 32.7 or something like You're gonna see what I'm gonna do. That's why.
Is it like a 32.8 or 32.7? Yeah.
No, I'm gonna put my foot through the fence and then jump from there. That's what I'm gonna do.
Oh yeah.
So like basically what I'm trying to do here is one of these numbers and then
Yes.
go.
Okay.
Sure. See what is it cool?
I think, yeah. Yeah, it's you are outside, so it's just
Right, so basically it's one of these numbers. That's all it is. Yes? Cool?
Yes. Oh, yeah, it is. Outside.
I couldn't even get it there anyway, Terry.
That was not illegal.
I tried, Terry. I'm sorry.
a whole lot of work and conversation, and I love leaving that in there just so everyone gets a perspective of how that unfolds. And meanwhile, Gossage has a chance to get back within 2, but he's off on the high left side. He needs that. Braeden's going to pick up what appears to be the lone birdie on the card.
$17. No, I'm still here. I was thinking about it, and Gossage just missed 3 circle 1 putts in a row. And earlier I was talking about how good of a circle 1 putter he is right now during this tournament. So 3 in a row is something that's kind of mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, and the rain has now picked up. And I'll be the first to admit, there's my bogey on the weekend for sure. Braeden just got up and threw, and I was not quite ready for him because I thought we were waiting on a bathroom break and everything else, but there was a slight break, and Braeden took advantage of it, puts himself in the fairway. That's exactly what Väinö's going to do.
Yeah, I mean, there is some OB to worry about on this hole as well. So this is one of those holes where it could potentially be 2 strokes, but I'm ultimately thinking it's going to be a 1-stroke swing at best. I can't imagine anyone taking too big of a number here.
Gossage has to, you just mentioned, yes, he's missed 3 putts inside the circle, and now it's all or nothing. I mean, there's no more, strategy whatsoever. It's just all run and gun and give it everything you got.
Yeah, 2 holes left. You got a birdie to put any pressure, and that looks like it should birdie from there.
Great controlled shot coming from Väinö.
Ben missed really short here yesterday. Not today.
No, but not as close as what we see from Gossage. A little more than 250 feet to the pin. That's what that striped pole is indicating.
Right, there's that out of bounds, unless he is somehow safe.
No, he's not. He is out of bounds by less than a few inches. And off the top, wondering how that doesn't drop for him.
Wow. I think if you're Ben here, you make this putt, you got to be feeling good. I don't think there's any way Aaron can come back and win if Ben makes this putt. Wow.
We've seen low misses, but we haven't seen anything that's not, center chain essentially.
He knows how big that is. That reaction by Ben, that seals the deal if he makes the putt. Now, he throws 18 out of bounds. Gossage birdies it. Anything can happen.
We've got a playoff.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And he's still out. Coming back for the short tap in, but like you said, this ball game isn't over.
Okay, good. I mean, we need a statistic on how many shots actually go out of bounds on 18 because I know that number is very, very high. This just got very interesting.
We head to the daunting 18th.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Gossage, you're going for everything. You got to get a hole in one here or put it close or put some pressure or something. I mean, do whatever you can, but I mean, it's 495 feet and everyone at home knows that's very, very far. So it's basically a full power shot, get it close and hope Ben makes a mistake. Or if you're Ben, you're hoping Gossage makes a mistake, of course.
Exactly.
And that shot looked great. I mean, the wind completely dropped that. So from there, he'll be going to a drop zone, which is about a 100-footer, which is still makeable, but, you know, it's throwing it up there. So here we go. Out of bounds.
Yeah, you heard him asking for it to somehow filter through, and with that, Ben's just thinking, wow, I can just lay this up. There's no pressure on me whatsoever here. This is an easy pitch.
That's that. What? No way.
It rolls out of bounds, so they'll both be going to the drop zone. Can Braeden somehow fight through? No.
Nope.
Right in the main collection spot, all for OB. And I believe Väinö had called provisional because he hadn't seen the official result himself, so he called it just to be safe. Again, I love the move, and Gossage does the same.
Yep. Unless something crazy happens here, I think that's wraps, Terry. What do you think?
That should be all she wrote. The fact that he came into this hole with a two-stroke swing, made the same mistake of going out of bounds. He can throw this over and mentally start rejoicing as the crowd gives him the applause he deserves.
Yeah, and we talked about it earlier. Ben comes out here every year and feels like he gets a top 5 finish every single time. So it is great seeing him come out here and getting this dub.
Well, we're going to start closing it out, and I got to thank, first and foremost, you, Parker, for joining us. I know everybody loves you on the commentary, and hope to include you anytime I can. So appreciate you being here, man.
Yeah, it's been so much fun. I hope I sound a little bit better for you. Terry hooked me up with a pretty sweet mic, so I'm not on my my bad one anymore. So let me know how I sound and if it's any better.
Ben, champion, been hunting it down for a while now. Rest of the card comes over. I'm fortunate enough to catch up with Ben after he makes he grabs his trophy here.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2025 Plating Sports Jonesboro Open presented by Westside Discs champion, Ben Callaway.
I'll keep it short and sweet. I just want to say thank you to everybody who puts this event on. 2021 was my first event here, and I fell in love with the course immediately after that. And obviously coming so close these last few years, this means quite a lot to me, so thank you guys so much.
That was a battle, wasn't it? That's awesome. Dude, that's awesome.
I'm the Disc Golf Guy, and that was my video blog. I'm joined by our champion here in Ben Callaway. Ben, certainly a special place to you. You've had some heartbreak here and come so close. What's it feel like to hoist the trophy in 2025?
It's hard to describe, but it feels like a weight off of my back because, you know, the last 2 years, 2 second place finishes. My first year here was an 8th place finish, and I think I had a top 20 at the other one. So for me to be able to hoist this trophy up, it feels very special to me.
Unique format this year, not being on the Pro Tour. You're here, but we played 2 rounds of 27. Yesterday, you were firing on all cylinders in what I feel like were worse conditions. Talk about just the 2 days and how they compared for you.
Yesterday was pretty slow. The conditions in the morning were definitely very windy, and then I definitely found my pace midway through the round. Kind of just got out of my own way and started throwing some discs. And then today, obviously with the added pressure, Goose was just, you talk about firing all cylinders. I mean, I think he was 15 through 18 at one point. And I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, I mean, it's go time. Like, I'm running out of holes. And we have 27 of them. It's like, geez. So after he fueled that fire for me, I just buckled down and started throwing some really good shots, making some good putts, but it was a really fun battle, I'm not going to lie.
I was just going to say, the battle which they watched unfold was exactly that, fun, exciting, everything else. When do you feel like the switch was flipped, though? Because it felt like the momentum was all in his favor.
I think the flip maybe for me was when I made, I can't remember the hole, but it's hole 12. I think it's 12, the par 4, is that right? The par 4 that goes uphill. I made a very big putt. He laid up because the conditions got crazy all of a sudden. It was windy, rainy, and he laid up his putt, and I had about 48 feet, and I'm like, the wind just died down all of a sudden, and I'm like, I could steal a stroke here. So at that point, that's where I felt like the momentum kind of shifted a little bit, and then it didn't help my case at all. When on hole 14, I threw it OB, and I'm like, all right, I just gave it right back. So now we got to start all over again. But it was a crazy battle with how the momentum was switching back and forth. But yeah, I believe it's hole 12 that I felt that.
Yeah, that 2-horse race that you guys were off and running with. Anything you'd like to say to everybody out there that's been taking it in?
I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in and watching the Disc Golf Guys coverage. Thank you for covering it this weekend. It means a lot to me.
Yeah.
I would like to shout out my sponsors, Discraft, Ledgedown, Grip Equipment, and Culture, Shock Barbershop. And also thanks to all of the Jonesboro community for coming out and watching.
That's it. 2025 Jonesboro Open champion, Ben Callaway. We'll catch you guys at the next one.
Dude.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Nice work.
That was
well deserved.
Golly, that was hard.